Hi everyone, welcome to the WildFly community call. We have quite a packed agenda, so let's get started. First, some community announcements around the different releases that we are preparing. Do you want to give a quick word, Brian?
Sure. I mean, you can see the basic dates there. There's always 3 key dates for any release that we kind of track. One is like the due date for PRs, and then there's the 2 days it takes to do the release. For people who don't follow this closely, it's always basically a 2-day process to get a WildFly release out. First day we built the main server and deployed to Nexus, JBoss Nexus, and then the second day there's various things that require that server to be built before they can get done. And due to time zones and stuff, we spread that over 2 days as opposed to trying to have people work in the middle of the night or something.
Yeah. There's more time between the beta and the final for 39, but that's due to the holiday break during December, right?
Yes, that's a good point I didn't mention. Yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah, we normally have 2 weeks between the beta and a final, but for the break, for the January release, I always work out a kind of
okay. But let's make sure the PRs are ready before end of December. That's better than doing that early January.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, thanks. Then we did just an update on governance. Do you want to talk about that, Brian?
Sure. So first off, thanks for everybody who participated in the 2 governance, basically governance and MD documents that describe the governance structure for WildFly AS, and for something called the WildFly Common House organization, which is a group of projects that are all associated in some way with WildFly, but a number of them also have like quite independent communities and independent use outside of WildFly, like Undertow and Mariana and Rest Easy. Anyways, we approved governance documents for those for how they'll be governed under Common House, as opposed to in the past they were directly sponsored by Red Hat, but now they're part of a foundation. So thank you for everybody. Those are merged, so now we have those new governance structures in place. The other thing is there's a role within governance called a maintainer, which is basically people who have a right to have merge permissions to a repository for the project. And the people who are maintainers are meant to, kind of function in a kind of a leadership role, help make decisions, drive decisions, all that kind of thing. So yesterday I proposed a initial list of WildFly AS maintainers. And there's a link there to there's a thread on WildFly Dev that talks about that. And there's a PR people can look at, and basically it's the list of the people who have right permissions. So
yeah, and just to be clear, the maintenance for WildFly AS is not just for the core code base of WildFly, it's also for satellite projects related to WildFly.
Yes, I haven't counted, but I guess there's over 100 repos we're talking about.
Okay. Yeah,
because there are like independent projects, they're called top-level projects at Common House, things that have typically they have their own name, they have maybe their own community, they have usage outside of the AS itself. So things like Mariana and Undertow and Rest Easy, those are not part of the WildFly AS project. And then there's WildFly AS, which also covers lots of stuff, right, including things like WildFly Electron, which is a WildFly branded project. So it's actually part of the WildFly AS. So there's all those committers. There's many repos.
So for example, let's say I'm working on the WildFly Maven plugin. I can be a maintainer for that project without being a maintainer for WildFly core code base, for example.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So there is basically a maintainer as a defined concept is somebody who has the rights to have write terms. So anybody within WildFly AS should not be granted write permissions to a repo unless we've said, let's add them to the maintainer list.
Okay.
But it does not mean the opposite, just because you're on the maintainer list that you have write permissions to every repo. No.
Okay.
It's the same as it always was. The people that are in charge of various repositories, they make decisions. Oh, yes, this person needs write permissions. Part of that is just good permission management. You shouldn't be granting write permissions to people who do not need them.
Yes.
If something happens to their account that just makes life worse for them.
The reason I mentioned that is this list of maintainers is a list without the project that they will be maintaining. We don't want to get that mapping into that file, right?
Correct. I think first off, I think it's just too much work, and second, I don't know. I don't know if that's something we want to disclose publicly.
Okay.
Because it is a permission scheme. I haven't thought about that, but my basic instinct is like, describing a permission scheme publicly is not necessarily a good thing.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks.
Just a tangent for people. Part of doing this, I wrote some tools that can scan GitHub organizations if the person running the tool has the proper permissions, and it can give you a bunch of information about who has right permissions, like in a report. So,
yeah.
So if people are interested in that kind of stuff, instead of going through 100 UI screens of a bunch of repos, if you want a more easier way to see if who has right permissions and why for your various repos, this can be run. So,
yeah, that would be useful for the other project that moved to Common House at the same time than WildFly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did socialize that with people, various people. So as part of doing this work. So.
Okay, thanks. Then we have Jean-François that wanted to talk about family and criteria for WildFly. Do you want me to share the slides, Jean-François, or do you want to do it?
Oh, I can do it. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, so thank you, Jeff. So yes, I am presenting that today. It's a follow-up on a discussion that started on WildFly dev mailing list, where we explored the problem. So I will not enter into the details of the solution, but I will try to provide an overview and highlight that with WildFly Glow CLI that in a way summarize everything from using few commands. So family and criteria, a strategy for more flexible WildFly provisioning. So also to say that we currently have a scalability issue in provisioning, meaning that we have one-to-one dependency between a feature pack and the WildFly feature pack on which it depends. So today we have some WildFly variants. So we have the WildFly preview, we have the WildFly, and perhaps tomorrow we will have some more. And each time you want to add features on top of a variant, you have to define a feature pack. So it creates a kind of explosion of feature packs, and it will for sure not scale in the future when we are adding more variants. So the family and criteria approach is there to solve this problem. So as I said, we have a post if you want to have the details of the idea, but mainly a feature pack is going to be able to say, I am part of a family and I am explicitly listing all the capabilities I am offering. And other feature packs, the feature packs that depend on the WildFly feature packs, will be able to say, okay, at build time, I'm depending on a feature pack to build my feature pack, but at provisioning time, I allow any member of the family that fulfill the criteria I expect. So if we define criteria in a way that we can share them between variants, it means that you can identify different, you can use, different feature packs in your provisioning context that are fulfilling the same criteria. So that's the main idea behind the WildFly family in the provisioning. So the advantages we see is that we remove this constraint I was mentioning at the beginning, and we are expanding the usability of feature packs. So if we look at today, we have this AI feature pack that works well with WildFly, but doesn't work at all with with WildFly preview, for example. And that's true for more. We have GraphQL, Keycloak, and so on. So some feature packs don't work with WildFly preview, and some others work by the mean of a duplication of the feature pack in order to be provisionable with WildFly preview. So we expand, and we will be able to remove those duplications once this is in place. So we have also a possible future application in the variants. So let's imagine in the future we have more variants to cope with more Jakarta specifications, for example. We will start to have, let's say, 4 feature packs, and we want our additional feature packs, so the feature packs that are in the ecosystem, as I said, gRPC, GraphQL, Cloud Data Source, MyFace, and so on, to work with all of them, or at least the ones that fulfill the expected criteria. So,
sorry, before you start, can you go back to the previous slides? So the idea is that a feature pack will not necessarily work with any feature pack. It will work with the one that has the right criteria. So for example, if my feature pack is using Jakarta E12, it won't work with something that provides E11.
Exactly.
I still need to constrain what I'm providing with my feature pack.
Yep.
And the second point is that criteria and family can be as broad or as fine details as we want, but we want to use them to map to Jakarta E and micro profile at that level, right? Not.
Yeah, I was also exposing in the thread, in the mailing list thread, we are speaking about something that will be the EE deployer, a kind of criteria that is really a common denominators between all our WildFly feature pack. It will be the ability to deploy something a la Jakarta EE that could be something interesting. We have a feature pack that does some transformation of deployment that could be applied to all feature packs, not constrained to just Jakarta and micro profile. So theoretically, we can do these kind of things. Then how it is going to be used, I would say it's more for a WildFly project to in the end define the criteria it want to expose. But yeah, I suspect, but I don't want to speak for Brian, that one of the main criteria will be this Jakarta and micro profile specification levels.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so yeah, just a warning. I am going to show you WildFly Glow that I have updated locally. I have a local build of WildFly with changes. I have local implementation of Galeon. So what you are going to see doesn't work if you download Galeon, Glow, and WildFly, just to be sure. I will try to make it clear. So I will demonstrate 2 variants, the ones that already exist, WildFly Preview, and an hypothetical Jakarta E10. Okay, so I am going to introduce WildFly. Can you see my screen? It's good enough?
Yes.
Thank you. So WildFly Glow allow you to scan deployment. And from this deployment, it outputs a Galeon configuration. So it will find what are the feature packs you need to provision a server to run this application, and the set of Galeon layers. So I am not going to enter into the details. You can go one step further, you can provision, you can do more than that, but for this demonstration, I just want to highlight the feature packs we are discovering. So when you scan a deployment, we are by default using the latest release of WildFly. So we discovered WildFly 38, and it appears that my demo application requires PostgreSQL. It found it, and it is adding the correct layer. So that's typical use of Glow. You can also say, I want to provision a server for the cloud. So this time the discovery is similar, but we have in addition this Cloud Galeon pack. So today we already have a support for WildFly Preview by the mean of a specific option. that is --WildFly preview. And it will discover and use the WildFly preview feature pack. And you can see that we have for cloud and data source some specific, as I said, specific feature pack developed for preview. So now I am going to switch to what would come in the future. So I am going to use my local build of WildFly. That is a snapshot. And again, we are finding Galleon pack 39 snapshot, cloud and data source, nothing changed there. So I am adding, let me clear. I am adding this notion of variant. So the first variant is preview. So this will deprecate the --WildFly preview option we saw previously. Oops. So WildFly variant. Let me clear. Okay, so this time we are discovering WildFly preview, but we are reusing cloud and data source. We don't need the preview specific feature packs. So if we go that way, we will get rid of these two. And gRPC also is offering a preview feature pack that we will be able to get rid of. And now the hypothetical variant, so E10. So in the case of E10, we are replacing the dependency of the WildFly Galleon pack to depends on E10 Galleon pack. So your provisioning configuration will first provision the E10 feature pack. Forget about the name, it will change, I'm sure. Then Galleon pack, and we can see that the cloud data source and WildFly Galleon pack can be used without any change using the E10. Yes, Brian.
Just a minor aside for people who might watch this. So this is a hypothetical. We're imagining a future where the main WildFly EE feature pack provides EE11. Currently it provides EE10, but this is like an imaginary future where the main one doesn't provide EE10 anymore, it provides EE11. So this is how you would get EE10 support. So that's just for some context for people who might be thinking, WildFly supports EE10, what's he doing?
Yeah, that's a good point, yeah. So in this future, WildFly Galleon pack 39 would contain EE11. And if you want EE10, you will have an extra feature pack. Thank you, Brian. Okay, so you can see that from Glow, we can, according to the variant you will be using, we can detect and use the correct set. And you can see that there is a reduction of feature packs, and the same feature pack can be used whatever your variant. We said previously, obviously, there is some limitation, as you said, Jeff. If your feature pack depends on some EE12 API, you will be not able to use EE11. Yes, Jeff.
So if I understand correctly, if I'm developing a WildFly feature pack, I will use the families to define what I need. But if I'm a WildFly users, I will use a variant that is different names to define what I want to provision. So I just say I want E10, and then it will magically map that to families and criteria. You did not introduce variants first, so I'm a bit confused.
Okay, so the variant is at the WildFly. It's a concept at the WildFly level.
Okay.
At provisioning, variant doesn't exist. It's a box, if you want.
Okay.
For Glow, it's a box that isolates various variants from each other. The default, the preview, the E10, the E blah, blah, blah. So that would be, I think variant is used when we are announcing changing in WildFly preview and so on, but that's not something that will pop up outside of Glow usage. It will pop up into WildFly Maven plugin, because we are integrating WildFly Glow, and today you can already say, I want preview. So I was using WildFly-preview. Tomorrow you will say, I want the variant preview. I want my discovery to be done in the context of a variant.
Okay.
Yes, Yeri?
Yes. One quick question specifically for this example, just to know if I am getting everything correctly. In this case, we are provisioning the EE variant. However, we are also using the WildFly Galleon pack. So what I am missing here is, it is supposed that the Galleon pack will also contain microprofile stuff and so on? Or so maybe the name is misleading, or just to know if I am getting it correct, because when I see EE10, I was expecting only EE variant, not without microprofile. So
that's a good, I see your question. I see your point. Microprofile is not a variant. It's a specification. E10 means I want WildFly, complete WildFly, like preview. I want complete preview. When you say preview, it's implicitly E12. And but I see your point. I think there is something perhaps to make clear in the variant is that it's not only targeting Jakarta. It can be anything.
okay.
That's a good. Okay. I see where the confusion could be. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Yari. Yes, Brian.
Yeah, just on that same topic. So I guess my question is, why is the WildFly Galleon pack discovered at all? Is it because by default Glow uses that one? Or is it because there's something like maybe in the cloud requirements, like observability or something that brings in?
Cloud depends on Galleon.
Okay.
Because it can configure microprofile config and these kind of things. Let's do it again differently. Do you still see my screen?
Yes.
I'm going to clear that and not do cloud. And we will see what happens.
Okay.
You can see that we have just the minimum set that is needed.
Yeah, and that illustrates an important thing, which is that at least for the way the current WildFly feature pack is constructed, we do not have to produce two variants of that feature pack just because we have an EE10 and an EE11 base. We can only have one.
Yep.
We'll produce two if for some reason we want to. For example, we want to use different macro profile implementations, then we would have two. But we don't have to do one. So it's the same as data sources and everything else. We don't have to do two different WildFly feature packs unless there's some different functionality we want to provide.
Yep.
And so over time, as WildFly, we move from E10 to E11. The default will also change, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of, yeah. I think the basic behavior of WildFly for 20 years now should continue, which is that the default just moves forward. And if you want to use these other ones, you have to change to use the old one. And I don't think, this is kind of off topic, but our expectation is we're not going to permanently maintain an E10 version, for example. This is for a transition period of a couple quarters, maybe, to give people a longer time to transition. It's not an intent to maintain a 10-year or 20-year version of the E10.
Yeah, so that's something that Glow is taking into account. This notion of variant is defined inside the context of a given WildFly version. So for WildFly 39, we will get E10 and preview. But for WildFly 40, if there is no more E10, the variant will be not available. And Glow allows you to discover what are the variants. I didn't show that in the command line, but you have a command line that allows you to dump what are the variants for a given WildFly version. So yeah, that's not hard-coded, actually.
Okay.
Okay, so Oh, sorry.
No, I just saw that when you are using the WildFly preview variant, it was listed as tech preview. We should not avoid to use that term. WildFly preview is not related to the notion of tech preview.
Yeah, alors, let me show you. It's here. It's
Yeah.
because it's I would say it's a bug because
Okay.
technically the metadata says tech preview, and we are mapping internally the symbol from tech preview to preview, just as you said. But in my POC, I have forgotten to change this tech preview. It will be.
I just wanted to double check. We are not introducing the notion of tech preview in
No.
WildFly.
No, it's really a label somewhere in our metadata that is named tech preview that pop up there.
Okay, thank you.
So I am done. I'm going to conclude quickly. It's really so that's a work in progress, and there is something. So I will say that the stack is complete from Galeon to WildFly to Glow to tooling to every tools, and we still have to look at the WildFly catalog that has been introduced in WildFly 38, and there will be an impact to show variants. And here we are going to expose such variants inside the catalog. That's something I didn't look at yet, but that's in my to-do list. Yeah.
In terms of timeline, do you want to do that for which version of WildFly?
I would say that the Galeon infrastructure can be released this week. I mean, it's the foundation is implemented, is done. It's more when the WildFly project want to start to define. I think introducing the WildFly, even if we are not defining the E10 variant, it can be interesting to start add this family notion to the WildFly feature packs already today. So we will get an advantage for WildFly preview. And then when WildFly project want to introduce the E10, it can do it at its own pace, I mean. So,
because a key benefit of what you are doing is also, we can already reduce the number of the combination of feature packs that we are producing. So for example, if I can get rid of the preview feature packs because I can rely on the family, that's a benefit now, even if we if we're not producing a E10 feature pack in WildFly yet.
Yeah, so the sooner, because we need WildFly to be released, WildFly feature pack to be released, the sooner would be WildFly 39. Okay. And we should be there. I mean, what I said, Galeon is ready. It's just a matter of updating few files in WildFly repository. So for 39, I think it's doable.
Okay. What needs to be discussed is the names of the families and the variants, right?
Family, I think WildFly family is not that controversial.
Okay.
The criteria and yeah, the variant, definitely.
Yeah, and I want to understand better, not now, but better the mapping between like the command line API versus the metadata in the files. I want to understand that better. That's a good, that's just something I want to understand. So.
Yeah, sure. What you tell me? I am not going to reply online, but I can write down a small technical thing. You would like to see how Glow maps from command lines to metadata to feature packs, these kind of things.
Yeah, but when I think of the command line, if you start to have command line options, that's another API. So I just want to understand how that flow will work. So in the future, how we're going to like maintain that, and when do we have to make decisions about introducing things, and what the effect is, and all that kind of stuff. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I think a description of actually everything is captured in the Glow metadata. The command line is a pass through, but the metadata I will provide detail on it.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you, Jean-François.
Thank
you. Let me resume presenting. Then there was two interesting discussions in Zulip. The first one is to move JBoss parent, which is the POM that all our projects related to WildFly are using to get commands, Maven dependencies, compilers, and things like that. And they want to move to using Java SE17 as the baseline. It's not an impact for WildFly, but it's an impact for other projects that are using JBoss parent that might not be at 17, right?
Yeah. So essentially what has happened, it's already there. A change made in the 51 version means because of an upgrade to a plugin, if you're using that version to build, you have to be building with SE17. Now, of course, you can always downgrade the plugin in your local POM. It's just a version. It's just a Maven property to avoid that. But that's just, that has had that effect. So anybody, lots of people on this call might be using it for various projects. It's kind of an FYI that happened. And then there's a discussion I wanted to do about it going forward, which is on the thread. But my sense is the consensus on the thread is probably it's not going to change. You know.
Yeah. Okay. Then who put the second item about the testing applications service? Yep.
That was me as well. So that's just an FYI. You know, it's an interesting something going on in the ecosystem. Some of the QE folks at well, they were at Red Hat. I think they're all at IBM now, but they've been doing some internal stuff and they're trying to migrate some of their internal to make it usable externally with more advanced testing scenarios with other cloud services and stuff, and just FYI about what they're doing. And
yeah,
have a look.
Yeah. I think we can say that Red Hat was doing a lot of QE on the EAP productization of WildFly, and now we try to push much testing infrastructure into in-upstream, which is a very good thing for the WildFly project.
Yes, for sure.
Okay, thanks. Then we have a follow-up from last meeting with the future of WildFly app development. Eduardo, do you want to discuss or present something?
Yeah, can I take over?
Sure.
Okay, so this is a second part of this team brainstorm about WildFly app development that we started 2 weeks ago in the last call. So a quick recall of what we discussed. This was about defining the future of tools, docs, and quick starts, so we provide better user experience and more features to users. And we went through tools, where we discussed the tools that we have and what we will have in the future without making a decision yet. So that will be in the future. We went through BOMs, which are in fact also tools. Then we went through our documentation that, about the need to improve our documentation regarding app development. And the final part of this exercise is to talk about quick starts. So quick starts, most look at it as a set of example applications. And at some point, we didn't have any documentation it was mostly the kind of README to just start the application and then go figure what's there. So lately, we have been trying to change the direction and turn quick starts as the support of documentation, and provide the applications used in docs ready to run, to build and run. So right now, what we have, we provide a zip with 57 quick starts. 41 of those support OpenShift, and 38 support Kubernetes. So there is these 3 quick starts that are still struggling with Kubernetes specifics. So that's what we have now. We cover every feature of WildFly, or at least I'll say platform feature. And so let's talk about the future, right? So there are two main topics here to discuss. The first is the most important to me, which is the common enhancements, the way that will change globally our quick starts for this vision of providing new, better user experience and more features. So there's something wrong here. Okay. And the second part is the new quick starts. So there is always people suggesting new quick starts, and we should now that we completely a big development cycle, we should now look at those proposals and decide which ones we will implement. Anyway, like I said, to me, the most important is the enhancements, since those affect all quick starts. And in the top, we have one big change, which is to change the focus and make server provisioning the priority in the user stories. So to give you an example, I can show you. Here's the README of the Hello World. So this is as simple as it gets, a quick start. And if you go through the document, you will start by building and running the quick start with the server distribution zip. Now there's nothing wrong with it. Far from it, we still support it, and it's always a good solution. Now, what I mean by changing focus is to actually make server provisioning the priority too. And this will mean, obviously, that using the zip will become a section, a secondary section in the user story. Now, here if you go through the README for this one, it doesn't seem there is a lot of change. Quickly, so you start the WildFly server, you build and deploy the quick start, you access the application, and you can run a few integration tests to assert it's working as expected, and you deploy the quick start. So there isn't much here. So okay, we reduce here to 4 user interactions, and in this case. Now, if I show you something a bit more complicated, like the Hello World mutual, now you will see how this changes dramatically. So this is a quick start that requires changing the server configuration. And so you have instructions to back up the server configuration, to start the server, to set up the server, right? To review the modified configuration. At some point, a lot of time after, you will build and deploy the quick start, and you will access the application. Now, all of these on server provisioning, so we are still with the zip instructions. Now with the server provisioning, it's still the same okay, because all the configuration changes are done by the provisioning configuration. Now, of course, I'm not saying to forget the zip. No, I'm saying let's put this in. Let's put server provisioning in the priority. Another reason is we can then start using Maven, the WildFly Maven plugin, highest levels goals like run or dev, which can even simplify further the user interaction. We don't have many quick starts that require changes. We have like 2 or 3, but those immediately you don't need to stop the server, you don't need to change the configuration, you don't need to reload. So the idea here is really to simplify the user experience. So going back to the doc, this is the main thing in this in upcoming changes for quick starts. Of course, if you all agree. One thing to note is that there is no intention to change all at the same time. So because those will need to have a look at each quick start and figure out the best way to do it. Okay, so other common enhancements that we plan, still on debate, of course. One is the move to JUnit 6. Right now on quick starts we have a mix of JUnit 4 and 5, and this proposal is to move all to JUnit 6. Another one which is important for cloud is how to add users to server provisioning, be it locally or in the cloud. Currently, we don't have an easy way for users to do this in a demo exercise. If you open this, there is already some debate. Jeff, me, James, we are all already debating here. So I will summarize in one hand, we don't want to promote a bad example of having credentials in the repo. On the other hand, we want to have a simple way to do this. So we'll need to find here a balance. Of course, we have some use cases, like we even have a private key in one quick start. In the end, we can do something that is not really recommended, as long as we document and make that clear. It's just for the example. Last but not least, we should bring some quick starts to the OpenShift catalog. So this is the reverse way of using WildFly. So right now we have WildFly and then we use OpenShift. In this case, it's for the people that first go to OpenShift and then discover WildFly. So those are the ones already planned. There is also another one which is important, is more about testing, which is at some point we lost our ability to test OpenShift in CI. And now that we finished this big development cycle, I believe it's time to spend some time and bring this back. Yes, Jeff?
Yeah, I just want to go back to the server provisioning instead of the zip.
Yep.
A big difference is that in the quick start, we start from a Java source code where we can know everything we need to provision to run that application. But we also have a lot of WildFly users that are installing, downloading WildFly, and they just have a war that they want to deploy. We should try to make sure that they can still use the quick start to configure their WildFly installation without having access to the source code.
Yeah, definitely. And when I say making it second priority, it's not acceptable to lose all the details that we have nowadays regarding configuration changes and stuff like that. I mean, okay, let's make it not the first, the priority, but still let's continue to fully support and embrace it. Anyone else about those common enhancements?
I think they're fine.
Okay, so now about the new quick start. As you can already see, it's a big list. Before I go through them, and I have to admit that I don't know the details about all proposals. What I would like to start to say that so these are just a collection of what was suggested now and some time ago, and that we have in the backlog for quite some time. Those should be developed if they are picked up. It should be, we should have a new feature in WildFly to develop those quick starts. So a feature team for each quick start, and the development should be responsibility of the component lead or some volunteer to do this. What I mean is that don't expect that we now say, okay, this one is cool, we want this, and then I will get a big list of WildFly JIRAs for new quick starts to develop. So having said that, which quick start? We have the AI one, and I believe this one is key at this point. I mean, all other vendors have AI demos or quick starts, and WildFly, at least in the quick starts, we still don't have anything. So Emmanuel had at some point was specifying a quick start for AI, but I believe it was more targeting the AI feature pack, which in my opinion, I mean, we should have one, but we don't need the WildFly feature pack to just do a simple AI example. Another one is Jakarta data, which is in preview in WildFly. So we expect at some point to have some example around this. Now it could be.
There's a JIRA for that I opened 2 days ago.
Okay.
I'll put it in the chat.
So one thing that I was going to say is that we could have a simple quick start regarding this feature. Another possibility is the next item, which is on Yera's backlog, which is making a new multi-feature quick start, similar to kitchen sink or thread racing, which in my opinion makes a lot of sense for E11. So to make a quick start that showcases the new stuff in the platform.
Yeah, I guess. Well, if we want to talk about it, I guess one of the pain points we have right now there is we are waiting to have the server using Jakarta E11. And the second one is there have been some discussions about what technology we want to use for presentation and so on. If we want to have more service-oriented quick starts with a front end outside of WildFly server, or which technology we want to use for the presentation tier. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, I think it's acceptable for us to have quick starts targeting preview distribution. I mean, we will need to make a second zip of the quick starts for the preview, but I think it makes sense, total sense to do that.
Why would we need to make a second zip?
Oh, because otherwise people will try with the standard distribution. I mean,
it won't work.
So I mean, maybe we could just continue to have one zip and then have in the README to make it clear.
Yeah.
View.
Yeah, and for example, if we are using the server provisioning, the code itself will use the right one.
Yeah.
Another one that I would like to throw out is, for example, gRPC. We should have a quick start for gRPC.
Mm-hmm.
I think what I'm not sure to understand, is also what is the granularity we want of the quick starts. Do we want that for each knobs and buttons in WildFly, or for, to use the term platforms, coarse grain functionality?
Well, honestly, it's up to each component lead to decide the level of the quick start. my experience is that the lowest levels are quite complex to maintain and in the future. I will prefer those to be documentation that is properly maintained. Something else on those more complex is that sometimes it's quite difficult to use new features or common enhancements. But in theory, the name Quick Start are not quite sweet to very complex demos, but I mean,
No, I'm just mentioning that because there's a tension then with having a multi-feature quick start. It should not be the default. It should be, just an opportunity to showcase multiple things together, but not the default. For example, if I want to use gRPC to connect to a database with Jakarta data, I have two different quick start to understand the two technologies. But I won't have one quick start that I can just use. That makes sense.
Yeah, I agree. Okay.
We are out of time, Eduardo, so I give you 2 more minutes.
Yeah, I will go quickly. So we have a couple suggested by EAP side, by customers or other EAP related teams like QE. One of them, it's more like a request for a guide, which is not usually what we have in quick starts. But I believe that quick starts could do provide this kind of usage. So this first one, it almost looks like an integration testing of WildFly. So the ability to manage a client WildFly through a client. The other one is about showcasing Galleon feature pack provisioning with a quick start. This is more about something that Jean-Francois did some time ago, an example, and to port it to quick starts. This was the original idea. Another one by EAPQE is about a new security application. So I will leave this up to the security team to decide if this makes sense. The two is about some clustering images and setup, which is about AWS and Azure. This is already being discussed also, that this may go into an existing quick start after all. It's possible that we, the same way like we do with Kubernetes or any other deployment. The last two. So one was a suggestion by Jean-Francois, which is about we make quick starts that showcase non-Maven tools. So stuff like Galleon or Glow. This is also a very good use case, in my opinion, for a quick start. And last but not least, Jakarta MPC. So this one goes in the same direction as the new features in the same.
I think it was more a guide than a quick start. Because I think the quick start are really Maven oriented. So the quick start is perhaps not the right place to cover CLI tool, but just I mentioned you wrote down quick starts or guide. I think it was more a guide.
Honestly, I don't have a clear distinction on. So the guide is how quick starts should be, in my opinion. So to me, the quick start is just the application ready to build and run. So in the end, so you go through a guide, and in the end you have, okay, now you can have all of these already developed and ready for you to try.
A different perspective on that is that the quick start really cater to the application developers working on WildFly. But if you are a sysadmin, you don't know Maven, you don't even use the JDK. You just have WildFly. You might use Glow. You might use Galeon, and for that you would need a cookbook to introduce features without having access to the code. So we need to make sure also that we provide a good experience for sysadmin that are different from application developers.
Yep. Yep.
Sorry, we are way out of time.
Okay, so last words is that after this, I'll send this a summary of all of this to the mail list and give some time for the community to decide on the open points, and then we'll meet again, I guess.
Okay. Just a note that next, in 2 weeks, we will discuss the WildFly Maven archetype, because I think they're also relevant to the user experience we want to have for application developers, and there's a lot of synergies with what Eduardo you are proposing. So it will be a natural follow-up to the discussions that we have about the future of application development.
Yeah, count on me.
Okay. Thanks everybody for joining. Bye everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.